but each chakra responds to a different color. The heart chakra responds to the color green. So we put the green on her. We're going to retest to see if that did any good or not. It did no good. So now we're down to the cervical spine. So she's going to touch the cervical spine. And now she's unlocked. Now you can actually pinpoint it to which cervical vertebrae it is. So this is C2.
Turn.
We did an activator on C2. And now we ask the body, how are you now? And she says, I'm okay. So now I say to the patient, okay, now that you're unlocked, we can proceed. Here's the strongest muscle in the body. See, that's normal. But it wouldn't unlock until we did the cervical spine. So, since those are the two most common reasons, it's only logical to check those things first. Heart chakra or cervical spine. And, you know, it should be obvious to you. You can't test a muscle that's locked up. You got to unlock the patient if you're going to get any meaningful results. Any questions on what you just saw? Okay, the question is, does she need to touch it, or can I touch it? And you can do it either way, but it's more accurate if she touches it. And since that's more accurate, you might as well use the most accurate method. Okay, so the question was, what if you don't have green glasses? You could have them look at something green. That would work. Or on occasions when I'm away from the office and I do not have green glasses with me, I can jumpstart the heart chakra with my own hands. Let me show you how we would do that. I'd put one hand underneath where the heart chakra is, and I put one hand on top of where the heart chakra is. And I would hold this area until I feel a pulsation in my hands like that. And then I would retest. You could do that in place of the green glasses if you didn't have the green glasses. The question is, the pulsation you feel, is that the heart rhythm? No, it's not. No. There's a pulsation that really has to do with the cerebral spinal fluid. It's not the heart rhythm. And if you're ever in question about what are you feeling it or are you not feeling it, you could put your hand like on the wall and make sure it's not there, but it is here. That's one way to tell the difference.
Question between the left and right, you activated this side. It would matter, would it not?
Her question is, I did it on the right, but it could have been on, if I would not have found it over here, then I would have checked over here. I would check the other side. It's not actually going to be on the right. It could have been on either side. Question was, how would you make the correction if you're not a chiropractor and you don't have an activator? Now, we have activators in the back of the room. If you don't have an activator, you could do this. You touch the area you found, you have her breathe in and out, and every time she breathes in, you press. You press, and you press. Every time she breathes in. That's the shortcut you do when you don't have an activator. Her question was, if you're not a chiropractor, is the activator in your scope of practice? I think you can use an activator whether you're a chiropractor or not. I don't think you have to be a chiropractor to use an activator. This entire weekend, we're not going to be doing any manual manipulation. That's not our purpose this weekend, to teach any manipulation. But we are going to show you how to ask the body questions. You say, body, do you want something mechanically done? Do you want something nutritionally done? Do you want something emotionally done? Do you want something electrical done? And if the answer comes up mechanical, then one way to do that is the activator, and one way to do that is what I just showed you. Breathe in every time I push. Okay, thank you for coming up. You can measure that energy enters the body at SP21 on the left. That's where it enters. We also said yesterday that if you're going to treat acupuncture points with your hands, you need to breathe in, because that makes the energy flow from you to whatever you're touching. And that energy, would someone hand me an empty water glass back there? That energy that we're talking about will not go through glass, and it will not go through lead. Thank you. So this guy is healthy and strong. Here's the strongest muscle in the body. But if I cover up SP21 with glass and I cut off the inflow of the energy, he's gone. Any muscle. So therefore, don't do that. Don't do that. Energy, and as soon as I remove the glass, he's fine. It's a very fluidic substance. Okay, now, you're going to ask the question, is there something wrong with the reservoir, which consists of the conception vessel and governing vessel? And here's how you do that. You put glass or lead over the junction of the two meridians, CV24, GV26, and see, does that do anything to him? And it does. It blows him out. So that means he has low energy. That's what that means. We liken it unto a waterfall. If a waterfall is gushing over the rock, for you to take your hand and try to stop the waterfall is fruitless. Can't do it. But if the waterfall is just dripping over the rock, now you can take your hand and brush that aside, and you can stop the waterfall temporarily by doing that. So that's what this is doing. It's stopping a weak waterfall. And he'll stay weak as long as you leave the glass there. Now, if this is strong, then you skip the following treatment. But if it's weak, there's 5 possibilities. There's 5 energy circuits that you need to check. And we'll go through them one at a time. And number 1 is CV5. CV5 is about 2 inches below the navel. And you tap CV5 and retest, and he's fine. So there's nothing wrong with that energy circuit. The second energy circuit is the same one that we showed yesterday for resetting the body clock. And so what you do is you press on SP21 on the left, you press on the ears, and then you retest, and it's not that one. That's how you check number 2. You press on SP21 and you press on the ears and retest. Number 1, you press on CV5. Okay, so now he doesn't have those two. Now we're going to go to number 3. Number 3 is the navel, the thymus, and K27. And that one is okay. We have to find somebody that has it, then I'll show you how to treat it. Okay, number 4 is you go to the symphysis pubis and the navel and the thymus and the clavicular knobs, and that's the one he has. Symphysis pubis, navel, thymus, K27. That's the one that made him go weak. Watch again. So that's the one he has. Okay, here's how you treat it. There was 4 of them. You go to number 1 and number 3, and you tap number 1 and number 3. Then you go to number 2 and number 4, and you tap them. Navel and K27. That's how you treat number 4. Now, did you do any good or not? Well, here's how you ask. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's gone. It's gone. Now, do you need to check the other ones? Well, it's faster to check this. This will tell you if there's any more or not. And he says there's no more. If it still went weak, then I'd have to check like number 5. But here's our shortcut. Our shortcut is the glass or the lead. So now we're done with him. We've concluded that all 5 circuits are working properly now. And as a consequence, he'll have more energy now. We need to show you how to treat all 5 of these. What you just saw is pretty common because like I said, most common complaint we hear is I'm tired, I'm fatigued. Okay, there's something wrong. Hopefully it's something other than number 4. CV5 is fine. Now, number 2 is SP21 in the ears. Ah, there it is, number 2. Well, you already know how to treat number 2. We showed you yesterday how to treat number 2. Remember this? Setting the body clock. The body clock is energy circuit number 2. So, we know that that's now fixed because this no longer blows her out. Are there any more? And here's how you ask the question, are there any more? She said, no, we're done. Because the glass no longer blows her out. So we just had to treat one circuit only, number 2. So now you've seen number 2 treated, you've seen number 4 treated. Let's have another volunteer. Now we're looking for number 1, 3, 5. Oh, something's wrong. It blew her out. Should not blow her out. Number 1. Okay, CV5. You treat CV5 like this. And then you say, how is it now? And she says, that's okay. Are there any more? And she says, yes, there's more. So we have to, in her case, we have to treat more than one circuit. Why do we have to treat more than one? Because she still goes weak on the glass. That's why. Okay, so now, is it number 2? Here's 2. And she says, that's not it. So here's 3. Ah, number 3 shows up. So now we're going to tap the navel and thymus at the same time. And then I'm going to tap K27 and the thymus at the same time. And now Hal is number 3, and she says, it's gone. And are there any more? And she says, shoot, there's more. So let's check number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you already saw me treat 4. You go to number 2, I'm sorry, 1 and 3. And then you go 2 and 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. That's gone. Are there any more? And she says, shoot. How'd you walk up here? Okay. So here's how you check. Here's how you check number 5. She takes 3 fingers below the navel and she pulls headward. So you do that. Take and then tug your skin headward. That blows her out. If you 3 fingers below the navel, tugging headward, if that blows her out, that's number 5. Number 5 responds to one of 2 things: pituitary or pineal. Pituitary or pineal gland. Okay, so here's pituitary. Now, take your 3 fingers and pull up. That did it. How about, does pineal gland do it? And she says, no, that doesn't do it. In her case, only the pituitary does it. So, how do you fix that? You give her some pituitary.
Is that like bovine pituitary?
Yes, we don't have a vegetarian pituitary. And so now when she tugs below the navel, and now, okay, now we'll do this. And finally she's okay. Okay, the shortcut for chakras is SP21 on the left. And the testor must touch it. If the patient touches it, it's an indicator for blood chemistry. So we don't want to check blood chemistry. We want to check if he shows the chakra indicator. Okay. So he doesn't show the chakra indicator. But for teaching purposes, we're going to pretend that it did show. So if SP21 on the left shows, you say, okay, he's got a chakra. Now, how do you know it's the 8th chakra? Because you know it's the 8th chakra if none of the 7 show. So here's root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, brow, crown. If none of those show, but SP21 on this did show, the only logical explanation is it's the 8th chakra, because you didn't check it. It's a process of elimination. If those 7 didn't show and the shortcut did show, it must be the 8th one. How do you treat the 8th one? You rub your, at that, I told you how far above the head it is. You rub that spot going clockwise with your 2 hands like this. And now this indicator should be gone. That's how you treat the 8th chakra. So he's going to put one hand on the left front. He's going to put the other hand on the right rear. And then we're going to test the indicator muscle to see if that made him go weak or not. And then we're going to check the other possibility. Keep your head straight. We're going to check the right front and the left rear to see if that blows out his indicator muscle or not. So we're going diagonally across the head. So let's see if he has it. If he does have it, we'll do the correction. Go on your back. Just make sure you're going to have both hands busy, so let's check this psoas. Okay, that's working properly. Okay, now he's going to touch the right rear and the front left. So he's doing this. Right rear, front left. And then we're going to retest. That's strong. Now we're going to do the other direction. Left rear and right front. And he goes weak. So therefore he needs the correction. If either one of those go weak, most of the time both of them go weak if they need the correction. But even if just one goes weak, we're going to do the correction. So you understand this muscle was strong to start with, but now it's weak. So now let's show them, let's have this set up and they can see the correction better. I'm going to put my hands in my hands this time. I'm going to put my hands in the same location. I'm going to press my hands together as he breathes in 10 times. And then you do the other direction 10 times. And you do this whether one showed or whether they both showed. You do both. Push my hands together and he breathes in. Ten times each direction. Now go back on your back. You're going to, as like a good kinesiologist, you're going to recheck to see if you did anything. All he does is touch. And that's strong. Now do the other direction. And that's strong. And that's all we did to make the eye pressure go down 5 points. We just press 10 times in each direction. So grab that and so okay, let go of that. Grab that. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to enter the location into pause lock. So we could do that by touching, or you can do it by thinking of the location. Okay, so we entered that in a pause lock. So now every muscle in the body becomes the location of the pain. So then the next step is which hypothalamic set point cancels that out. Oh my gosh. I said that because it was the first one. Okay, it was large intestine 20. Okay, so you understand the hypothalamic set point that shows up is not necessarily the same meridian that runs through the, like, this is heart and small intestine, so you can't say that's why large intestine showed up. So he plugs into stomach 25 is alarm point for large intestine. He touches the alarm point, and I tap large intestine 20. So this is how we clear the location. Now, think of the location of the pain. Nothing happens. Now, how would you describe that pain?
I
Stiff?
would say ache.
Ache. If the arm goes down, spread the feet. Think the ache of the pain. Ache doesn't get it. You have to come up with something else.
Sting.
Okay. We got the sting of the pain. So now, which hypothalamic set point cancels out the sting of the pain? Gallbladder 1. So go to gallbladder, and I'm going to tap gallbladder 1. So that's how we get rid of the sting. Get him out of here and think about the sting. Okay, so that's gone. Now you need to think about the M, which means when did the pain start? What happened? You had an accident, or?
Yes, I was walking through a pasture in the dark and tripped.
You're walking in the dark, and you tripped, and you hit your little finger, or?
Yes.
Okay, now think about that. When that occurred, spread. Okay, so now we got the memory of the pain on pause lock. And again, we're going to ask which meridian. Ooh, gallbladder 1 again. So plug into gallbladder. I'm tapping gallbladder 1. Take him out of pause lock. Think about when the pain originally occurred. And that's gone. Now, go back to the original test, was where you grabbed the little finger. And that's gone. It's very thorough if you can treat all three, the location, the quality, and the memory of the pain. If you can clear all three, how does that feel?
That's an improvement there.
All right, tell your friends.
Thank you.
So lots of ways to treat pain, but that is particularly thorough to do the LQM. And all three of them are cleared with a hypothalamic set point on the head. Think about what time of day it is right now. Okay, she shows it. And the patient will say, well, I don't know exactly what time it is. It doesn't matter they don't know exactly what time it is. All they got, the brain just has to be processing The brain will say, well, I think it's about 6 o'clock. Or, you know. So the fact that it blows her out, think about what time of day it is. The fact that that blows her out means her body clock does not agree with this clock. So that's how you test for it. You could prioritize it, as you could any technique we show the entire weekend. Think about what time of day it is. Think about what time of day it is. Okay, it is a priority. So that's convenient. So here's how you fix it. You remember SP21 that we used earlier? We're going to rub SP21 and we're going to pull the ears out as if we're trying to turn them into Dumbo, like this. SP21 on the left only, pull the ears out. SP21 on the left, pull the ears out. We do it 3 times, and then we ask the body if we did any good or not. And we say to her, think about what time of day it is right now. And she says, it's gone. So that's how you reset the clock. In her case, it was a priority. So that's good. So she'll sleep better tonight because you got her body clock reset. How does that get off? The most common reason it gets off is from traveling across time zones. Because every time you cross a time zone, the clock changes, the hour. So it's a great little trick to know. And you can use this technique to not only reset the body clock, but you can use this technique to cancel out jet lag. And here's how you do that. Whenever the plane lands, then you rub SP21 on the left, and you do this to yourself. Rub SP21, pull out your ears. And now your clock is on the same time as the time zone that you've now landed in, and you will not have jet lag. You can beat the jet lag if you'll do that when the plane lands. It's really common in children, especially babies that have their days and nights mixed up. You can absolutely fix that. The baby that sleeps all day and cries all night, if you do this to the baby that I just showed you, you can switch the baby around so now they'll sleep at night, be awake in the day. Works fantastic. Now, here's another application. The guy who works shifts, shift work. Every 2 weeks, the shift changes from daytime to nighttime to graveyard, daytime, nighttime, graveyard. The body gets confused. The body gets mixed up. And you could fix that by doing this to that guy or teach him how to do it to himself.
How did you find out?
It does a wonderful job. So ask her tomorrow if she slept better tonight. You can balance the entire acupuncture system by using the Shen cycle around the navel, meaning that above the navel is fire, over here is earth, over here is metal, over here is water, over here is wood. Do you follow that? The law of the 5 elements around the navel. Two things you can do with that. Let me show you. Let's just take him out of pause lock here. You can challenge in the fire direction. You can challenge in the earth direction. You can challenge in the metal direction, the water direction, and the wood direction. So he shows water. He shows water as being the over element, the meridian in the acupuncture system. Now, here's the shortcut. You're gonna say, why didn't I show you this shortcut? Tap around the shin cycle like this in a clockwise direction, and you can balance the entire acupuncture system if you tap around the navel. You see what I'm doing? Fire, earth, metal, water, wood, fire. You got that? I'm tapping in a clockwise direction. And so that should have eliminated this. This doesn't show. Now, let's go back to SP21. Okay, he still shows it. Now, is that a priority? And he says, yes, at last. Okay, and we found out it was heart. Now, just to be redundant, there's the heart. Here's the priority. The heart is the priority. And the north pole of the magnet, which is marked green, should unlock the muscle, and in his case it does. So we're going to use that as our indicator. We're going to drop this on him. And the usual response is, well, I wasn't ready. I didn't know you were going to do that. So now he knows what I'm going to do. He's ready. You can't resist that. You can't resist this because this is CNH sugar from Hawaii. They call it pure. What pure means, nothing's been added. What they don't tell you is what they subtracted. For example, honey, they've identified 90 different trace nutrients in honey. This is a pure carbohydrate. It's missing 89 ingredients as compared to honey. The body recognizes this as a vacuum. So when it touches the body tries to fill in the vacuum. And that's what causes the weakness. And we'll be using that several times this weekend. Now here's a good question. Does it have to touch the body? Or how far away does that occur? So here's a wooden stick, which is inert. Now, if we take the sugar down the stick, at the same time he's resisting, that's about how far out this electrical field extends. And it varies from person to person, but doesn't vary much. If you were to map out the body with the voltmeter, you would see that it extends out about 1.5 inches, a little further around the heart area, a little further around the head area as compared to the rest of the body. And so, trust me, we've done this numerous times with the patient blindfolded, with me blindfolded, and you get the same result every time. It extends out about that far. Nature abhors a vacuum. So, okay, that blows him out. So what I want to do now, I want to find out which head point cancels that out. So you keep thinking about how you were victimized. And bladder 1 cancels it out. You- So, just take the glasses off. Now, I'm going to tap on bladder 1 at the same time as you say out loud, "My heart is filled with love and forgiveness." My heart is filled with love and forgiveness. Say it out loud.
My heart is filled with love and forgiveness. 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 My heart is filled with love and forgiveness.
Okay, now I want you to go back to that original thought of how you were victimized. Think about that. It no longer blows him out.